Now we are defining power on self-test. This is popularly called as post. So we are testing power on. When the computer is turned on, this test will be performed. That's why this is called as power on self-test. This will be done before the operating system runs. So what is post? Post is a set of routines, means set of steps we are taking by the firmware. Who is the firmware? BIOS. So set of routines performed by the motherboard firmware immediately after the computer is turned on. So this post will be done immediately after the computer is turned on to determine whether the hardware is properly working or not. If the hardware is properly working, then the OS runs. If the hardware is not properly working, then it will send the message to us. So what is the hardware? Keyboard is the hardware material, RAM, disk drives, all these hardware materials, whether they are correctly working or not. Before the running of the OS, when the computer is turning on, we will check that one in the post, power on self-test. If all these are properly working, then we are sending the message to OS. Then the BIOS, motherboard firmware will send the message to OS. I am giving the clearance to you. You can turn on the remaining entire programs you can run as usual. So before the OS comes into picture, this post will work. That will be performed by the BIOS. Now the question is, before everything runs on, even before the video card runs, this post will be performed. When the video is not turned on, how we will get an error message? Example, keyboard is not working properly, disk drive, hard disk is not working properly, RAM is not working properly. How we will get the message? On the video screen we should not get, because the video card is not activated yet. That's why we are taking the help of this sound. Even though video card is not activated, computer speaker will work at that time. Because of that, we are giving a beep sound. That beeps may be long or short depending upon the nature of problem, whether there is a problem in the keyboard or RAM or disk drives. So if there is no problem also, it will give beeps in olden systems. Now it is running as usual. So it will give the beeps to OS saying that my test is completed. If there is any problem in olden days, now if there is no problem, in olden days it will give the beeps to the OS to continue. But in nowadays, there is no need of that. OS is running automatically after the POS, power on self-test. So the advantage of power on self-test is we should not blindly turn on the computer even when the hard disk is not working properly. It will not good for us. So we are checking whether these are, example, keyboard is not connected properly, online keyboard also not working. If you turn it on the computer, now you do not know how to shut down the computer. You have to switch off only. That is not good for our computer. And if the hard disk is not working, RAM is not working, that should be known before even OS comes into picture. So post will be performed before the OS comes into picture. It will be done only to check whether the hardware devices are working properly or not. If the hardware devices are working properly, then it will give the clearance. If they are not working properly, it will give the message, error message will be in the form of the series of beep sounds.